Today we're going to have a go at taking off the door panel on this 280 SL. This has got an electric mirror on this side, so the first thing to do is take off the chrome triangle. It just pulls off, it's held on by 3 clips. Then we're going to be undoing 3 screws here to take that chrome piece off. Then we're going to be undoing 3 screws here to take that chrome piece off. And then we're going to be undoing there's a little piece of plastic chrome trim there which just clips out with a small screwdriver. We're going to be taking that screw out, and then underneath here there's another Phillips screw that we're going to take out. Just that little bit of chrome there has got to come off, just held on by 2 Phillips screws. You've got all the screws out of the door. There's a whole series of clips, plastic trim clips down there. One of the reasons we're taking this panel off is to fix this hardboard door because it's bowed out slightly. You can just click those off using a pair of pliers like that. Just got to take that piece of chrome out, just pull the handle open and it should just come straight out. Then the door card should just lift straight up. Okay, we got the door panel off eventually, but it did not want to come off. There's a hook here which basically hooks into there, and then there's this metal clip here which is incredibly difficult to get off, because if you don't pull the door back it tends to get stuck like that, and you might find it's actually easier to effectively unscrew this door handle all the way off, and then it's relatively easy to get that out. So that's the way I did it in the end. The other thing that's missing from this door is the damp-proof membrane, which should be stuck to the door. They're about £4.80 plus VAT from Mercedes, so we've ordered a couple of those, and we'll put the damp-proof membrane back on and just de-rust that part, and then we'll put that door panel back on. The driver's side door card, and it's got 2 problems. One is that it's cracked along here, and 2 is that it's all worn out here. There should basically be a solid piece of hardboard here with a little hole in it into which the handle clip goes, and the trouble is if you leave it like that, it will mean the door handle on the other side will be loose. Now you can actually buy these bits of hardboard from the SL shop for about £65 each. The problem you've got if you try and make one of these up is that these clips here that hold this top bit of trim on it look like one-time clips, and by the time you start bending these tags back and then bending them over, you're likely to snap them off. And similarly, you'd have to get a staple gun and actually re-staple all of this, which is perfectly possible. Plus on here you have to staple to this handle. This bit of plastic is actually still available from Mercedes, but what we're going to try in the first instance is just to see if we can fix this with a strip of fiberglass down there and then fiberglass over here, and actually cut the hole in and see if that works. Strips to size. Under here I've put 3 layers of fiberglass because the glue is going to basically soak through, and I'm going to cut a little groove in there into which the clip sits, so that's got to be pretty solid. This isn't broken here, but it's starting to break, so I'm going to put a patch over there as well. Mix up the resin, a little bit of hardener in there, use chopstick, stir, bit of resin. Always you work with gloves as well. In here, because that's going to soak through to the pads I put underneath, hopefully, and some heavy bricks on there just to weigh it down and keep it flat. It hasn't been off before. There's a good chance that some of these clips will either be broken or missing, or will snap off like that when you take the door card out. So it's worth getting some new clips from eBay before you start, and I'll give you a link just to where you can get them from. Taking this door card off is because on this door, this little fitting here is intact with just a hole and a small square, whereas on this door here we've repaired the door with fiberglass, and we now need to cut exactly the same size hole and the same size square to fit the clip. So we're just going to use that door as a template. I suspect the person who originally took this door card off didn't know how it came off, and that's why that little fitting there is snapped off, and probably why that is torn out of the hardboard like that. So you can avoid damage to your doors simply by knowing how they come off. Paper template using the other door, cut out the square and the hole, and just quick jet of black paint to mark that. I'm going to take that off now, and then we're going to cut the hole out. And I've tried going over them with a little brass brush, but it's not getting all the rust off. So what I'm going to do is put them in a solution of a de-rusting solution. I'm going to try a new product by Built Amber. And this product basically comes in crystals. It's much cheaper to buy it like this than it is to buy Evaporust. And this bag here costs about £40, but you use 19 parts water to 1 part of this stuff here. So just to put that in perspective, hot water, because it speeds up the reaction, I'm just going to use one of those little buckets of these crystals in there, and then we're going to pop those two in overnight to de-rust them. In there, like that. Let's give that a little stir. It's dissolved. And all we need to do now is pop these in and see what kind of results we get. Okay, these little metal clips have been sitting in this solution for 24 hours. Let's see what they're like. Let's give that a little wash off. Certainly the rust all looks like it's gone. Let's give that a wash. Those clips have come out completely rust free, like new. What we'll do is we'll just spray those up with some form of rust encapsulator to stop them rusting in the future. But I have to say the Hammer Built de-ruster gets the thumbs up for me. That is a tiny amount of those crystals in that jar. It's a much cheaper way of de-rusting than using the pre-made solution, so we'll certainly be using that again. We're just going to use a bullnose carbide burr just to grind out this fiberglass here in a nice square pattern, and then use a slightly sharper edged one just to get into the corners. A set of these burrs from eBay costs about £6, and they're really useful for a variety of things. These are the door clips that hold on the hardboard door panel, and they basically fit through there. They were a little bit rusty when we took them off, so we put them in a rust solution overnight, and we just sprayed them up with some chrome galvanized coating, which will act as a primer and also a sealer to stop them rusting in the future. That stuff is quite expensive, but you can use it for all sorts of other bits on your car, like we're going to be restoring this bit of boot chrome. I'm just going to get all the old chrome off, and then we're going to just spray it up with that stuff. So the plan today is to get the door panels back on. We've been to Mercedes and got some waterproof membrane, which is basically just 2 bits of polythene with the handle cut out here, and I guess a cut out here for manual wind windows. Both bits are the same on each side, and that costs us just under £12 for the pair. Don't assume that everything at Mercedes is going to be more expensive. Those waterproof membranes are actually cheaper at Mercedes than they are at other sources. The part number is 107 727 0087, and the cost of both of them, including the VAT, was just under £12. That part number there, incidentally, is the part. There used to be available a metal strip that runs along the bottom of this door holder, and unfortunately I've only got 1 tab left. There should be tabs here and here, and you used to be able to buy that metal strip. It's no longer available at Mercedes, but just in case anybody ever does try and find it from another source, that's the part number. Putting the new membrane on, this is a good idea to try and get rid of as much of this old glue as you can, and just scrape it off with something plastic like an old credit card. If you've got long nails, you can use that. It's not too essential, you're never going to see that, but just get as much of the dust etc. off before you glue the new membrane on. And when it comes to gluing the membrane on, you've basically got 2 choices. You can either use spray on glue, the advantage being that you get a nice fine layer of glue everywhere. The disadvantage is it's quite difficult to control where it goes. You don't want to be getting it on your seals or your door mechanism or anything. Or you can just use something like Evo stick with a little paintbrush, then you can paint on exactly where you want the glue to go. I haven't quite decided which is going to give the best finish, so I may just tried both methods. A little bit of spray on adhesive just around the edges here. It's actually quite easy not to end up getting it everywhere, just to put on this waterproof membrane. When you've got the waterproof membrane, there's a few things you're going to have to cut out just with a Stanley knife. One is this little hole here where the door clip goes, and then these little trim clips. You're probably going to need to make little holes. You just need a little watchmaker screwdriver to poke a hole in there. You don't need a lot of glue to hold this waterproof membrane on the door. The action of the door actually clipping on will keep it in place, and probably goes without saying, but the purpose of having the waterproof membrane is to stop moisture getting onto the hardboard, which once that gets wet it starts warping and the door panel will start twisting and some of these clips will start popping out, which is exactly what happened on this car. So we're going to put the door panel back on, just leave that to dry for a few minutes, put the door panel back on, and that will be that part of the job done. To make your own membrane if you had a roll of polythene, so if you do intend on doing that, this is what the template looks like held against the door panel. There's one cut out there, the top of it comes to the top of the squares there, and there's one cut out here which fits where the door lock is. So that membrane, if you were going to cut your own, would basically fit to the edge of the door panel with those two cutouts, and as I say, that would probably be a slightly cheaper way of doing it. Card back on. This is the order that you need to do things. First of all, this clip here needs to clip onto the hardboard like so, and hopefully that hole will align. Next up, that screw goes through, and you're basically going to screw this handle on that side first. The other side of the door, don't forget to put these tiny little chrome trim pieces on. They only fit on, well, they fit on two ways actually, so make sure you get them the right way around, that the handle sits in the groove. There's one chrome piece on, trim piece on each side of the handle, so it's gonna, get that on camera, it's gonna look something like that, and they're held on by tiny little pan head screws like that. Chrome pieces on, it's just a matter of screwing that handle to the other side of the door. This strange little clip here, and the way you put that clip in is you put it in vertically and twist it horizontally to lock it in, just like that. We're going to now fit this door panel on, and in theory all we need to do is line up that hook, and line up these hooks on the scraper seal clips that we put in earlier. And then the last thing to do will be to clip in all of those clips at the bottom. I hook in that clip first, and I'll make sure that the clip on that side is not too low and can also hook in, and then the top clips will just clip in. You might have to just bend that over like that. And the last thing to do is just to clip in each one of these door clips, and then that special metal door clip there. Just give them a bang with the palm of your hand. And the bottom plastic trim clips in, make sure that these clips are aligned, that this isn't going to come away from there, that all of those clips are actually slotted in. Once they are, it should be a simple matter of just popping all of these clips in with the palm of your hand. Just screw that Phillips screw to the door, and that'll keep everything nice and on, which holds this on. We're just going to make sure that the door does close with that nice Mercedes thunk, which it does, so we can now start putting the trim. Put on is this. To put that piece on, you need to pull that out and slide it through the gap and just screw it on with the Phillips screw. Hidden by a small trim piece that just has 3 clips on it, and that should just clip straight in there. And that chrome on, which basically just slides up under that metal plate and locks this rubber seal on. It's held on by 3 screws. When you take it off, if you find that there is any corrosion on the back like that, which is quite common, just get a wire wheel or a wire brush on that, and then or dip it in a bath of evaporust or something, and then you can either use some chrome galvanized coating or just some rust encapsulated to stop that getting any worse. Piece of chrome here, just held on by 3 screws, basically holds that piece of the door card against the door. Once again, if you take it off and you find out you've got some corrosion, don't just put it on like that, because that corrosion won't get any better. Just sand it off and spray it, treat it with a rust encapsulator or something, and spray it up. Piece of chrome here, and they do fit on both ways. but you need to make sure you get it on the right way. Basically the flat side goes to the bottom, not the curved side like that. You should be able to actually see from the previous door marking, and that's held on by two chrome plated posi drive screws. 1983 2SL. The it has electric windows on the passenger side, and the last piece of chrome you need to put on is that. This actually has one of the clips, in fact two of the clips broken off, so I may just inquire about getting a new piece, or I may just make up some new clips, or I may just maybe use a neodymium magnet glued on the inside or something like that, just to hold that last trim piece on place. That hides the wires for the electric mirror. So we've got the door chromes on, they're de-rusted. Door panels are on the passenger side, and now it's over to the driver's side. This is the little vacuum system here, and there are 3 vacuum lines going to it. Now your car may be different, but on this car the green vacuum line attaches to the top. The centre line actually has a vacuum on it. When you turn the engine, if you put that line on your cheek or your finger or something, you'll feel the vacuum. The bottom line is a red line, so you basically have a red and green line going to the back of the car. Damp-proof membrane on the driver's side door. Just before we do, just get rid of as much of the old glue as you can. Make sure that the locks actually work. That will only lock when the door's closed. Make sure that the key works in the lock, and connect up the vacuum lines. And we're going to use some spray glue just to glue on that damp-proof membrane. You take a door card off, this fitting here will always end up still in the door, so you have to remember to pop that out and put it back in the door card. You're going to need to cut this section here out, where the door hooks in. Just use a sharp Stanley knife to do it. This section out where the centre part of the handle clips in. Oops. Section here as well where the little metal clip clips in. And this metal clip goes in vertically like that. Once it's in, you can just twist it with a pair of pliers like that. This driver's door we repaired quite heavily with fiberglass, but if all goes to plan, which it does, that just clips on there. It's going to be held tightly. Then we're going to put a screw through there and screw the handle on the other side just as before. SL has got manually adjusted mirrors. You're best off taking the mirrors off before you put the door panel on, because you're going to be sliding the door panel down here and that little fitting gets in the way. The driver's side door, if your door's got one of these handles, you've got to put this piece of chrome in first before you try and screw that on. Next up, chrome bit goes on. This little slidey bit goes in next, and then you slide the door mirror adjuster clip on like that. Slides on, whoops, and that little piece slides in to lock it in. Just put the chrome on, just slides up, held on by 3 screws. Put that little chrome C-ring on, finally the front chrome there, and that's it. Job done, door panel's in.